the crowd going wild.
That is the crowd. It's growing.
It is.
Do you hear the buzz? So I'm excited for this week, guys. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
This is a book that I have no doubt recommended to no less than 20 to 30 people.
Including me.
Including you, Stren. I want to say this was released in 2006.
Yes.
I have read this book a million times, so I did not do a refresher. So if I do something wrong, please correct me. But I doubt it, because it's one of my favorite books. Guys, today we are covering The Lies of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch.
The man, the myth.
The legend.
Yes, yes.
All right, so
we do welcome you here to the Margins Podcast, where we talk about books, the ones that leave a mark, start a conversation, or stay with you long after the last page. Oh, I just saw this. I'm Stranton.
And I'm Cristiano. We're here.
We're here.
At this point, you know us. You're going to love us.
You better.
Yeah, right. Otherwise,
I'm going to cry.
So, today's lineup, we are going to go over some heists, hustles, a little bit of heartbreak, and the crooked alleys of Camorr. And before we jump into, our book and our read, I should say, let's go through our favorite segment, Between the Wines.
Yeah.
So today we are drinking, sorry if I messed this up, especially my boy Matteo, because you're Italian, so you were going to tell me. Garavecci.
Garavecci.
Yeah, if you want to say it. Garavecci. Let's show this to you guys. All right.
Would that be from 2020?
Huh?
Was that from 2020?
I believe it's from 2020.
Oh, just...
aged from 2020, as they say. We chose this one because this is Italian wine. We're doing a book. Camorr is set up in a fantastical Italy. And if you look at the label, it definitely reminds you of that Camorr feeling. So with that being said, I like to get into it. Oh, I guess that the hints, right? I got to go over it. So this is a classic wine. It has an intense garnet color with delicate, yes, penetrating perfumes of mature plum. It has a dry, warm, and robust flavor.
Yeah.
A perfect communion with red meats, game, and well-seasoned cheeses and books set in Italy. Best open at least 2 hours before serving or decanted. I think this is going to be one of our best ones yet. So, guys, go to your local Total Wines and check out Garavecci.
Paint me intrigued. Or color me. One of the two. It's color, but it's fine.
So, while we get this open, I just want to give you guys a setting. Because this is one of my favorite books. I don't want you guys to go dry dog. I don't want to dry dog you. You feel me?
Sorry, Mom.
Sorry, Trey's mom.
Dirty.
So, The Lies of Locke Lamora is the first book in the Gentleman Bastard series. This series is exactly what it sounds like. There's that high class feeling, right? That's the gentleman part. You go through a lot of etiquette training and rubbing shoulders with the who's who in society. And the bastards part, my favorite part, are the anti-heroes that are written into this story. So the main character's name is Locke Lamora. You'll find that he's a cool character to read. I really did love reading him. And his merry band of friends. Yeah. We'll get into those guys later, but just wanted to give you guys a quick idea of why and what we're getting into.
I came across this, as we said, because of Cristiano. We've talked about some of the books that we've recommended to each other. This is one that he said right off the bat to read, and I kept saying, Brutus. Got him. I kept saying, I'm going to read it. It's going to be my next book.
Yeah.
But I knew it was a series. The Gentlemen Bastards. So I'm always hesitant to jump in because I'm one of those people that if I start a series, I want to finish it. And because my boy here started me on The Name of the Wind.
Hey, no regrets.
No, I do love it.
No regrets.
I do love it. I pushed it off, but I have recently read it for the first time, and I'm happy that we get to talk about it today.
I'm excited. It's good. It's good. It's good. Let's take a quick cheers.
Cheers
of the
indeed.
Garavecci.
Cheers. Garavecci.
That's really good.
Yeah, it is.
Wow. Okay. So let's jump into some recent reads. What's going on? What you got going, bro?
Right now, I am reading. I'll pull it up right now. The Wind-Up Bird Chronicle. This is for the Bricked Up Book Club. Boys, you guys get shouted out every week. We meet this Sunday. If you don't say anything about it,
Then we know they haven't been listening.
yeah, I'm gonna cry real hard. But it is by Haruki Murakami. Everyone talks about how wonderful his books are.
Yeah.
I can say, so far, I'm halfway through and I'm very much enjoying it. It's just beautifully written. Can I tell you what it's about?
Yeah, please do.
I could tell you what's going on, but I'm still not understanding where the story is going. And not in a bad way. It's just so many aspects are getting thrown into it about this guy's life.
Yeah. Maybe it's like a you know how in Dragon Ball Z it's actually in no specific time frame.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
It's one of those.
It's true. I'm not positive. But I know that I'm happy about it. So I'm reading that. And I saved this. Guys, I saved this for the podcast. He doesn't know I'm about to say this. It's gonna upset him.
Oh my god. Let's hear it.
I might be DNFing, as in do not finish, which my boy here loves doing.
I'm about to say, join the club, bro.
Oh, you want me to be part? It's Flatland.
No fucking way.
There it is.
No way.
I think 10 chapters deep. And I'm still like...
It's not a long book.
No, not at all. It's not the length. It's not the length at all. It seems like it's explaining for so long.
Well, 'cause it's a mathematical book.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't like math, then Flatland probably won't be for you. But it's to help you understand the real life math that takes place in this book. We have to get into it.
At what point does the story begin?
Immediately.
Really? It just seems like it's like...
No, it's all It's all good and
women are
important
this,
information.
men are this, our rooms can only be this.
Yes. Think about it like the first episode of an anime or when you start a book, it's all setting the scene.
Yeah. Building the world.
That's what that's doing. It's building the world, but that's actually one reason why I love it so much is that this is everything that happens in Flatland, and not in terms of like the narrative, but the mathematical scope of it is so accurate, and it's all very important. So don't glaze over, because then by the end you're gonna feel like you're missing things.
Are you gonna finish Mistborn?
That shit is so far in my TBR. It's so deep.
I'm feeling petty. I might just wait until you finish Mistborn.
Look, I got through 2 of those.
You did. And this one's so much shorter. There's technically, like, if you went audiobook wise, an hour per the books that Mistborn would take.
So you hear this, guys? So I just want you guys to understand. Mistborn.
You could show them how
has
long
a trilogy.
Flatland is.
I do. It's right here behind me.
Be careful.
So obviously you can tell this book is well worn because I love it. You know, I've referred it to a lot of people. I read it a bunch of times. It's not a long book.
No, it's super short.
It's incredibly short. Let's see. This is the afterword, and it's 156 pages. So the actual story is 147.
Yeah, so I'll finish it because unlike this man, I'm not a monster. So
I've read thousands of pages now of Mistborn.
That's true. It's fair.
Yes, I gave up on a third book because
I'm talking about books in general, you DNF.
Oh yeah.
And I know this is a topic for
I don't suffer
everyone.
from it. Yeah.
Yeah, I do suffer.
Yeah.
Why? Why am I a martyr for these books?
I don't get it.
I don't either.
You guys, comment. Join me. Join my club. If something's not serving you in life, it's okay to walk away. Come back when you feel ready. You know what I mean? I
can't disagree with that when you put it that way.
But
those are the books I'm reading.
That's
right
what you're reading.
Yeah. What about you?
You guys just heard some of the books on my TBR, but what is it? He who fights monsters.
Oh yeah.
So I had started this book some months ago. I put it down so I can read some other books. So it's been in my TBR. Although I started it, I was like maybe 8 chapters in, and I just started reading other things. So I picked that back up, which means I had to put down some other books. So I got like 3 books on pause. You feel me? I started this one back up. I'm also still going back through Red Rising because I'm not gonna lie. Out of all the books I've read, in general, it's just I feel so complete when I read that book. And now I'm rereading it, I'm just enjoying it so much. So I enjoyed it the first time. I didn't think I could enjoy it more. But
my older brother Seth, who's been listening to the episodes, what's up, bro? Just finished Dark Ages today.
Oh,
I know. God. No spoilers, but yeah, he's going on to Lightbringer.
I can't wait to do that episode. Unfortunately for you guys, you're going to have to wait time because we're not doing them consecutive.
Yeah.
And that's like book 4, 5, 4.
What if we released
5? It's 5.
What if we released for that episode, the original episode we showed?
That's Lost Tapes, bro.
Yeah, Lost Tapes.
It's Lost Tapes.
It was definitely one of the first ones we tried tackling while we were still figuring out the interface for the audio.
Yeah.
The setup for the camera. We didn't even shoot.
We're in here.
I think we thought we were shooting, and we finished the podcast, got up, and both cameras were off.
No. They ran out of memory.
Yeah.
So one had like 45 minutes. The other one had like 20.
Yeah. And it was a sign. It was an omen.
Yeah. We learned a lot.
Yeah.
It was a great episode.
It was a great episode.
Day won't ever hear it, but it was a great episode.
But we will do justice to Red Rising.
Yeah.
And because the fandom don't play.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't.
And we're part of it.
Absolutely.
We're part of it. Big fans. Big fans.
Yeah. Hail Reaper.
All right. So with that being said, boom. I just want to get into some listener recs.
Okay.
So this week we got a few recommendations. So this is on YouTube from Brian0648. If you're listening to this episode, shout out to you,
Brian.
So you recommended The Inheritance Cycle, and I asked, what's your favorite book? You said Brazinger, and I'm super familiar with the whole Aragon series. That's my favorite book too. Between that and Eldest, I do not have a problem rereading that series. I would be super excited to reread that series. If you have not read Aragon, read it.
Bryce has told me to read it a couple times now.
Don't read don't watch the movie and think it's anything like the book. No. Doesn't do it service whatsoever.
That's what I did with Dragon Ball Z, the live action.
You would have never got through any of Dragon Ball if you fucking took the movie.
Original Last Airbender?
You would never get through anything.
Street Fighter?
I actually like Street Fighter.
I know. But now we like it because It's
Don't do that. I fucked with Street Fighter, man.
Really?
I really liked.
I
liked
love
it.
Street Fighter.
I love Street Fighter as well, and that's why I was like, I have to like this movie.
Nothing will ever top the anime of it.
Yeah, for sure.
That is
100%.
Might be
Peak.
my like in my top favorite films of all time.
Man, I haven't rewatched that in a while. I used to rewatch it all
I think
the
it's on
time.
Crunchy.
I used to rewatch it all. I used to
I have the
it.
VHS. Yeah, same.
So I got to rewatch it. Top man, that's crazy. I'm gonna watch it. But I will say, Mortal Kombat. You guys, I was there for Mortal Kombat Armageddon when it came out in theaters. It was one of the first movies I went back to see.
So, my boy Nick, who you've met, who used to live with us,
Yeah.
he is of the age of the year 98. So, a little flipsy on the what year I was born.
Yeah.
So he had never seen Mortal Kombat except for the newest one.
Wow.
And he fucked with it. And I was like, oh, same. And then I said, have you watched the original? No. Let me show you the trailer. And watching it right after the new one,
Yeah.
obviously I'm always going to love it, but it's something that you would think someone made on Windows 95.
Don't do that.
Like Reptile?
Don't do that. I was so excited
I
about
know.
Reptile. I was fucking gassed in the theater. I was screaming. No, don't do that.
No, I loved it too. Believe me, I loved it too. Don't watch Free Willy either. Because that last
I
scene,
rewatch it all the time.
the key spot, Willy look real fake.
You can't say anything bad about Free Willy to me.
I love that movie.
You can't say anything about bad Free Willy to me. That's like trying to down talk dozen checks in. Can't do that to me, bro. All right.
I do love Free Willy, but that way it looked fake. Anyway,
So
next listener.
next listener, who's that?
That is
SL Bosan. You're one of our followers on YouTube. Correct me if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. But basically, you recommended Alaron Kong. This is a lit RPG book series. I did go Google this, and it looks super good.
really.
It looks very interesting. I added it to my TBR. I might even bump it up. So,
Oh, good. You added him. I was just about to say Malk.
I'm not missing anything.
No. Mugiwara _ Malk. I see him all the time on our TikTok. Malk has been a day one for us, and he recommended He Who Fights with Monsters, and then also Defiance of the Fall. So we went back and forth on TikTok a little bit about that,
Yeah.
and he highly recommended both. I had told him that Zach, who had originally recommended Dungeon Crawler to me, was saying how great He Who Fights with Monsters is. So, Malk, my man, my person, thank you.
Yeah, two really good recommendations. Gonna add these. I'm currently going through He Who Fights the Monsters and Defiance of the Fall is also.
Did you look at how many books there are for He Who Fights the Monsters?
I think there's
quite a few.
Yeah. I'm in no rush. I'm in no rush to get through all of them.
Okay.
So yeah, thank you guys. We love that you guys are not just listening but engaging. More listeners, please send your recommendations. We appreciate it. You can either do it through commenting on our TikTok, YouTube,
Instagram.
We're on Spotify, Apple, whatever. I think Spotify largely leaves comments. Or just go to our website. There's actually an area for you to click, subscribe, join our mailing list, and give us recommendations for books.
TheMarginsPodcast.com.
So, with that being said, super excited to get into the reading. You want to go to the synopsis?
Yes, please. All right. Welcome to Camorr, a city of secrets, sharks, both political and literal, and one very charming bastard, Locke Lamora. He leads the Gentlemen Bastards, a crew of elite con artists who fleece the rich while dodging gangsters, warlords, and something darker moving under the city's skin. It's crime caper meets fantasy noir with more blood, banter, and double crosses than you're ready for. The Lies of Locke Lamora is the first book of the Gentleman Bastard series. How cool is that name for a series too?
It's awesome. And it's so right. Like once you guys read it, you very quickly understand why it's called the Gentleman Bastard series. So after I read that, I wanted to read something similar. I was like, I read a lot of books, and I think I had read a couple of books in between, and I was like, man, it's not doing it for me. So I did find A Name of the Wind. Great segue from that. Years later, I also found The Thousand Deaths of Arthur Ben, which is very similar in terms of like the heist, the crime aspects that you get in The Lies of Locke Lamora. But I'll give you guys more recommendations, more thoughts on all these kind of things later.
As far as The Name of the Wind, funny enough, Patrick
Rothfuss. Yeah.
Said that this book is in his top 10 of all time.
Let's go.
He said, yeah, he so he has a couple. There's a couple authors out there that a couple, many authors out there that love The Lies of Locke Lamora. He had that to say amongst so much more. He said that there was, I think, 3 things that it did better than The Name of the Wind. I believe he said the title he liked more. He said, you should really know what you're going to say if you're going to say that there's 3 things. But there's 3 things. Check them out. I said it was long. Figure it out. The other one that said that this is an amazing series is none other than our boy, Pierce Brown. He said that it's rare. Is it rare? He just said that it's a book that made him forget that he is an author himself. Let him get back in the seat of a fan.
Yeah.
You know, where I think he said 10 p.m. turns into 3 a.m.
Yeah.
I'm very much paraphrasing. But just know that this is a writer's writer. This is a book that has many fans across the spectrum. One
of the first things I told you about this book was how well written it is. And that's the whole series. But even just from the first book, you can recognize how much thought he put into every aspect. It's a very complete book. At least I think so, in my opinion. I think that in terms of the world building, the plots, the character, the development, what's even like the off-page things, he does a great job at letting that be a character. The city of Camorr is a character. One of my favorite things about the story are things that are unsaid but hinted at, and it's a big ongoing theme in each one of his books. I've also told you that there's a lot that when you're reading through it the first time you may not catch. You have to kind of read on to the series, come back and read the first book. But you don't feel like that, though. You know, sometimes you read those books, you're like, man, they're intentionally leaving shit out or whatever. He's such a great writer. You really get lost in his writing.
I didn't feel like I went without until your ass told me that I did. Which is not a bad thing. I'm not upset that you did. But because you just said that perfectly, where I, as a reader, finished the book and said, oh, that is awesome. I really absorbed it. I feel good about it. And then you're like, oh, did you catch this, that, and the other? And I said, huh?
Which I regret, because a lot of... I don't know if I spoiled a crazy things.
No, you didn't.
But a lot of stuff that you're going to encounter in book 2 and book 3, they say book 4 is going to come out in like 2026, but they said it every year.
Do you remember how long it's been?
So and someone could correct me if I'm wrong, but the final manuscript was done 2019 on my birthday. We're 6 years past that now.
Yeah, he's past a decade since the release of the last.
Yeah, so 2006 was Lies of Locke Lamora, Red Seas Under Red Skies, just like I think 2 or 3 years after that. The Winter of Emberlin was like 5 years after that. So yeah, yeah.
He's getting into that territory.
He's getting
real cozy with Patrick and George.
I believe in you, Scott Lynch. Not that I don't believe in you, because office, but
specifically because of what you said. The manuscript is in, or he has the manuscript.
Yeah.
So it's not so much I still have to write it, so he's not George.
No.
And he is fine tuning, so it's a little bit of Patrick.
Yeah, a lot of fine tuning, but there's so many like Easter eggs and things like loose ends he has to tie up in this book, you know, like it for you're just on the front edge of the story, so it's probably not making a lot of sense, but a lot happens between book 2 and book 3. Book 2 can almost be a standalone. It can be its own book, you know what I mean? So I would even say that I would go as far as say book 1 is like a prequel, and then book 2 is actually like the start of the story. Book 3 is like the actual sequel. But yeah, you'll see. You'll see. So yeah, it takes place in the city of Camorr. This is a city-state, and basically all these you'll learn about more cities in Camorr, but all these cities came after the fall of a great empire. That empire was the Theron Throne Empire, and there's references to the past. So, for example, they have something called Elder Glass. Elder Glass is an indestructible material, and that's what a lot of their bridges, towers, cellars, etc. are made out of. And there's something called false light. And so it's the thing I loved a lot about the book was that during false light, everything glows. Right, so you walk on this bridge. Imagine the bridge you're walking on glows enough for you to see in the dark. I thought that was super awesome. That was like that's something that we as in real life should adapt. You know, they'd be super cool. And they're called the Eldrin. That's the race of people that built all this awesome stuff before the fall. Not a lot is known about them. They just know they left indestructible material and a lot of ancient artifacts. So, you know, one of the things I wanted to get into it with you when you first finished was first impressions on tone, world building. Because I loved Camorr. I thought it was super cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I had just read, I guess a plethora, but like Name of the Wind, not so much Red Rising. What else am I forgetting? There's nothing. Oh, Will of the Many.
Yeah. There
is that whole thing of the groups of friends going after something, but this was so uniquely its own thing that I enjoyed it from the beginning. Like Locke himself. As far as the tone, I'm trying to think of something, whether it be a film or a book, that I could relate it to. I will say a bit of it reminded me of, at least his character reminded me of, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, but Lupin. If you watch it on Netflix.
Yeah.
Have you checked that out? I mean, it's based on...
Lupin the Third, right?
What?
Lupin the Third?
Is that like a Sherlock, but for Paris?
You talking about the anime?
No, this is a live action, and it's about basically a guy who, a thief, a very popular thief that is big into like disguises and tricks everyone. But it's a French TV show on Netflix.
Oh hell no, never watched that.
Yeah, you gotta check it out. It's really good. It's really, really good.
Well, that reminds you of this book. This book doesn't remind you of that.
I said what I said. Anyway, we love that show, and so when I was reading this, I was like, "Oh, this is like a little bit like that."
Well, better, yeah,
but better. But yeah, that was my first impression
They're gonna make this TV show. The rights were bought into the same year it came out. Someone bought the rights, and then they just sat on it.
Are they waiting for that last book?
Who knows? I mean, at this point, I don't want them to make it. I want to make it.
Yeah.
Not even gonna lie. Like, there's certain things that, which we'll get into when we get to fan casting. I was like, even from when I first read it, I was like, I would love to make this into a movie. I would love to make it.
Do you think it's wrong for them to go the show route? Series?
So what I like about the series is that it would be able to expose people to a lot more information that happens in a book. But I think what would be lost is the wow factor, because I think that movies bring like a larger than life feeling to literature. And there's certain things that I got from this book that I don't think everyone gets from this book. You know what I mean? Like when I first read it, I had all the emotions, not even gonna lie. Like, so I love his story of being an orphan that not only overcomes, but he makes his way. And it's not like an easy road. Like, he has a hard time every step of the way. He's not even close to perfect. Makes mistakes. And it's not like quiet mistakes either. You know, there's people around him. The people around him, by all intents and purposes, are better than him at what he's trying to do. And there's certain things that he does that are, you know, he's good at. But for the most part, he's not the best in anything. He's not the most handsome person.
No.
He's the perfect hero to me, because when I was growing up, that's how I felt. You know what I mean? And I truly enjoyed this story so much. Laughed, cried. I had all the emotions. I really think that it was like a full spectrum of everything for me. That's why I always recommend this book, just because I remember my first time reading through, and I didn't really care about that. Thought didn't really occur to me about like, wow, something could be this well written, until after I read this book. So, but world building, I thought it was awesome. I thought Camorr felt very real. Obviously, you get like a lot of tones of like Italian culture. You definitely get like that Italian feel. And then there's like cross plays with like a little bit of fantastical elements. One of my favorite things about the book is that it doesn't lean that hard into the fantastical, like magical things. You know what I mean? Although there's obvious tones of magic, it doesn't use it as a crutch to push the story forward. I would say most things that you encounter, you could encounter in real life. You know,
the manipulation of people and their belongings, memory, everything.
Money
specifically.
Yeah. So Locke and Jean, for me, it's one of the best duos in fantasy.
I do love that tag team. I told you before that I was unsure about John, just because. So throughout the book, we're hearing from two different vantage points or two different timelines.
You get the younger and the older. Yeah. Like mid-20s.
Yeah, and we don't get to hear about Sean until a bit later on. Well, we hear him early on in the later as adults, but the younger you don't hear too much. So right off the bat, I was a little skeptical of him just because it's like, oh, you weren't at the very beginning. And I was wrong. I was so wrong, because then he is there.
He's a real deal.
Yeah, he's a real deal.
He's a real deal.
He's a day one.
He's a ride or die.
Yes, he is.
He's a dog. And it's funny, I loved the juxtaposition how he's like the soft one out of the group, but he's actually the muscle.
Oh, yeah.
He's emotionally malleable, but in terms of like whooping ass,
He's that guy.
He's that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the muscle.
He's absolutely the muscle. And I think the beauty of that friendship and that duo, unlike some of the other books, whether it be Name of the Wind, Will the Many, Red Rising,
yeah.
all these ones with these, friends, is that they know each other. They know each other from the beginning. There's not... I mean, there is some things that get uncovered later on.
Yeah. I mean, John was there from the beginning. He's a day one because, from the two timelines kind of things. I don't think this is a spoiler, but Locke's first crew was the Sansa twins and Chains.
Yeah.
And then John came. Which John didn't come that much later, though.
No.
They were still very
not
young.
at all.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying,
but they didn't trust him either, though. They were
the Many,
skeptical.
where there's a huge secret that was being hidden from, the rest.
Yeah.
Same with Red Rising and between Darrow and Severo and everyone else.
That tracks. Yeah. That huge secret tracks.
Whereas these guys had to have each other's back from the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you guys have not noticed, I love this book. Not just the duo of Jean and Locke, their core group. So the main characters in this book, you have Locke, Jean, the Sansa twins, who are fucking hilarious.
They are.
Sabitha, who's also a gentleman bastard. She's mentioned, not so much shown because she's on a mission. You have Kappa Barsavi. He's the big boss in the city. There's a lot of gangs, a lot of crime, and he's from the biggest, baddest. Did I mention Bug?
No, you hadn't. That's why I was like, you said the twins, and I was like,
how did I forget about Bug? So Bug is the youngest gentleman bastard. He's probably what's what I'm looking for?
He's G-Baby.
Yes, he's the most savage. He's so raw. Bug is definitely a G-Baby. That's great. That's good. Damn, that's good.
G-Baby will be making an appearance in the clips. I guarantee you.
Absolutely. So yeah, the Falconer. You'll meet the Falconer. You'll know him. I said Captain Barsavi. You have his daughter, Nazca. You have the Grey King. You have Father Chains, who's the first gentleman bastard. And you have the Thief Maker, who you meet early on in the book when Locke is an orphan. Yeah,
introduced. Yeah.
So there's a lot more people, but those are like the people that I think are very impactful and keep the plot going, keep the story going.
Yeah.
So one thing I did want to talk to you about, pacing. How do you feel about the pacing of this book? Do you feel like it was too much happening, not enough?
No, I felt engaged the whole time. I felt like it was as soon as I understood that we're playing with different points in the timeline, it was frustratingly amusing because you get to a certain point in one timeline, like it's about to climax, and then it would switch to the other one.
Yep.
And then it would do the same thing on that one where you're like, oh, finish this, and then it would go back to the other. So,
because one timeline gives you the why, it's the world building of what's happening in the other timeline. Yeah. I really enjoyed the pacing. It's one of there's I'm not gonna say one of the only. There's a lot of books that have great pacing, but this one there's no lulls at all. Like you go from this to this to this to this, and it's the whole book. And I think that's one of the first things that I noticed when I read it the very first time years ago was that he puts so much information. Not all of it is like fights or whatever. Like, there's also a love story in here. You know what I mean? And it's written in a way that doesn't feel overwhelming. You don't really get overwhelmed with the recipe that he built. But yeah. With that being said, let's get into fan casting.
Who do you got?
So, I don't know if this is going to be a running theme, but I don't really care too much about who plays Locke. I'm way more interested in who's playing everyone else.
Okay.
I don't know this guy's name. Sorry, guys. We'll clip it up and post it on a thing for you. But for the Falconer, the person that pops in my mind, you ever seen Sherlock Holmes, the second one?
Yeah.
That villain? The villain in Sherlock Holmes.
Moriarty?
Yeah. The guy that plays Moriarty.
You want him to be it?
Oh, maybe it's the first one.
He's in both.
No. Wait.
You're saying the first one where he's the British guy?
I'm going to show you guys, and I'm going to show him.
He's also...
the Falconer's a guy that I'm like...
I think I know who you're talking about.
He's in the
Kingsman?
Huh?
The Kingsman?
I think so. I'm going to show you right now. Hold on right now.
I'll get there first.
I'm going to show you right now, guys. Sorry for the lull here. It's going to be so well.
Mark Strong.
Is that his name? Yes! Is he not the Falconer? And I knew that without a name. It's just like, he's the Falconer.
Okay.
Tell me he's not the perfect Falconer.
No. I love that. I think I was picturing someone more grisly. I think a little bit more like just thicky boy.
For the Falconer?
Yeah. I don't know why, but when I thought of him initially, I was thinking like someone who's like built. Maybe the fact that he's like has a falcon that lands on him and everything.
Yeah.
Do I think Mark Strong would be an incredible casting? Yes. I have zero doubt that he'd be able to kill it. I hadn't given him any thought as far as an actor, so I won't cast him. I think sometimes you just have either an animation or a general thought. Yeah. I do typically cast like with an actor in my mind or a person I know. Sometimes I do that. I remember doing that when growing up.
This came out in 2009. I mean, this came out in 2006. Sherlock Holmes with him came out in 2009. They were close enough to where I had read this and watched it, so it was super easy for me to make that connection.
I see that. Okay. Who else?
Jean has to be. He has to be thick.
Yeah, he has to be a big boy. Ooh.
Someone that can fight, but has size. That's my Jean.
Oh, that is hilarious.
Is that not who you think about when you read this?
It is not. Not even close. But I love that you said that, though.
So in my mind, even in my first read-through...
Mikey
from Recess. Mikey from Recess. If you guys watch Recess, Jean gives the same energy as Mikey. He has the size. He has the crew. He's not soft, but he's... What's the word I'm looking for? He's sensitive.
Yeah, sensitive.
But don't fuck with him.
No.
Don't fuck with Mikey. Same thing. Don't fuck with Jean, bro. Yes, that's my Jean. I'm sorry. I know it's like not a 1-to-1, but I think that's perfect. Someone who could do that. Whoever does Jean could do Mikey.
I'm still thinking.
You know.
So we're gonna go for Locke. Josh O'Connor. Josh O'Connor made his debut in my life in Challengers with Zendaya. It's this gentleman.
Okay.
Very.
I can see that.
There.
That was pretty recent.
Yeah.
That's the tennis movie.
Super. Yes.
Yeah.
Super recent.
I can see that though. He has like yeah. God, you showed him to me. I'm like, yeah, I can see him as Locke.
You know?
Yeah.
Not, but his charisma is crazy. They were thinking about having him be Bond.
Really?
Yeah. Because
No
the
way.
man is just like, he has great chemistry.
I gotta see it then.
Yeah. You gotta check out Challengers. I really enjoyed that.
I'll be honest. The reason why I didn't watch it, I think I had read something critical about it. They said,
What? Someone didn't like a movie? No way.
So here's the thing, like I don't give a fuck. I'm not like queasy. I'm not prude or anything. But sometimes I don't really want to. I don't care too much for like the overly sexualized stuff or sex for no reason stuff. And I did read that it was just like
Overly sexualized?
yeah, for no reason. I was like, I need to watch it. That's also my problem with Fourth Wing guys. Everything else I love about the book, the series, it's way too overly sexualized. So if you guys like Fourth Wing, fuck you.
That's a big line to draw. Dang, we just lost.
Not for everyone, but for myself. I'm not gonna lie. I honestly think, and I told Naya this, I was like, Starton's gonna enjoy Fourth Wing.
You think so?
I think that you're gonna like it. Not gonna lie.
I tell you, I read Twilight once, and you're just like,
Yeah.
it is.
Up your alley.
That's
for sure.
funny.
I like most, like 70% of Fourth Wing I like. 75. The other 25, I'm just like, yeah. Not for me.
Ooh, I'm seeing some
78%.
online casting. Yes, I'm cheating and looking on there.
Okay, let's show us some.
Let's just go ahead and go through some. I've never seen her from Nazca. Aja Naomi King. She was in How to Get Away with Murder.
Okay.
Nazca, I guess
She's
starting
kinda
with that
clean cut
character is
for a crime boss's daughter.
yeah, and they did have Idris Elba is like a high one for
who?
Copper Boss.
Let's go. I told you.
Wasabi, yeah, he is up there. They have for the Falconer, Tom Hiddleston,
Ooh,
Loki.
I like that.
Yeah.
Although I like Mark Strong better, I think that Tom Hiddleston would be great for that. Damn,
It
that's
looks
a
like
good one.
for Locke, they have. I don't know if anyone has watched. Well, I know I have, so I know you guys have. But the Umbrella Academy, they have
Okay.
this man.
For Locke,
Yeah.
I love the Umbrella Academy. I don't know.
That is not Locke.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
I'll pop up the photo. Anyway.
Because Locke isn't. Maybe I'm just thinking about his character on Umbrella Academy, though. But he's not very comical.
Oh, no, he's super. Oh, you're saying Locke isn't very comical.
Yeah.
You don't think so?
Not really. I don't think that's like one of his
Key attribute.
prime attributes. I think like the book can be funny. Like the book is funny, actually. I mentioned that earlier.
But you think he's more of the straight man in this scene?
I think he's much more of a straight man. I think a lot of the comical relief comes from the characters around him interacting with them.
Okay.
Just my opinion. Don't take my shit for anything. But anyways, that's fan casting, guys.
That's fantastic. I'll come better prepared. I'm never positive.
This guy knows the name of every actor in the world.
I get in the weeds with it. My apologies.
Well, it's time to get into my favorite part of the show. 5 hard questions.
Mm-hmm.
Now, once again, just to remind you guys, these are 5 hard questions. One of us will always write 5 of these questions. The other one, this is their first time getting to even look at them. So you'll be getting raw reactions no matter what each episode from one of us. Yeah. And even for the person writing the questions, we don't usually spend a lot of time looking over them. So just to keep it fresh for you guys, you know. With that being said, let's jump into these 5 hard questions.
Let's do it.
Is deception always unethical, or does intent matter more than method? When is a lie a survival tactic instead of a betrayal? Sorry, it's a long one, but want to connect it to some real life things. You know, for you, have you ever been in a situation where a little bit of deception or a lie,
a little white lie,
you know, might move things forward for you, or
might move things forward? I guess a lot of it has to do with not always intent, but the consequence or the hoped consequence. So if your intent and what you're hoping for is for a beneficial outcome for you, I'm guessing that it's not ethical. I'm sure there's workarounds, but you think of a white lie, that inherently typically means that you're looking out for someone else. There's no selfishness involved, you know?
So I'll play a little devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
Because deception doesn't always have to be
negative.
This grand scheme, right? Mm-hmm. It could be something quite light, you know, making more of a situation than it really is. Slang, what you say, you putting dubs on that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you putting 20s on a whip for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes people do that, you know, like I remember being younger days, pre-Naya, as if there were any days.
Was there a pre-Naya?
Was there? No.
Didn't think so.
You know, let's imagine that there were.
I dare not.
You know, sometimes you might, especially in high school or something, you might put on an air. You know, you might act like you're bigger shit than you really are, right? And that's a level of deception that's not a flat out lie. You know, it's just kind of peacocking, right?
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, even in a lot of people's adult lives, you might go on a job interview.
Yeah.
Right? And you've got to use a level of deception.
For you to get that job.
For them to believe in you. Because you already believe. The deception is getting someone else to believe something that they may not believe is true. Mm-hmm. You yourself can already believe it's true. Because you're thinking you are the past, present, and future of yourself. So you may think it's real deal anyway. Mm-hmm. You know, you just don't know how to get other people to believe in that.
For me, I do think it's I will go with the white lie or telling of a story that I feel will be most beneficial for the person that you're trying to like relay it to.
Yeah.
I think if any hurt or anger or whatever you want to call it would happen if you told them straight out, whether what happened or what someone said or whatever it is, I'll avoid it. Right. You know, if I feel like it's not something that is life threatening or will change or will be detrimental to them in any way.
Right.
You know, this is something that Rachel and I have talked about a ton. Because there'll be times where stuff came up and she's like, well, why did you tell me? I'm like, well, I didn't want you to get like, not like a secret or anything, but it was just like, I'm trying to think of an example. But anyway, where she's just like, I'd rather just know.
Yeah,
like,
tell me flat out.
Yeah, because I'd rather not there be like a secret or something that you're keeping, whether it's for good intention or not. And I've brought that up in the past on the podcast where I had that similar situation with a group of friends where I thought that I was protecting them, ended up offending them for doing said thing, which I understand now.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know.
So, it sounds like you're saying intent does matter more than method.
I'm saying that I think intent matters.
Yeah.
So if I'm answering for me, which that is what Hard Questions is about, I do believe that. Yeah. Period.
Period. Okay. Well, let's move on to question 2.
Question 2.
Do you want to ask that or do you want me to go?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do it. The book is full of masks, literal and social. In real life, how much of what we present to the world is performance? What are your stats at?
So, I think this changes depending on the situation and depending on how mature you are. Mm-hmm. Meaning, like, as you go through life, you may perform less or more as you grow older and the positions you're put in. I remember points in my life where I was probably doing too much, you know, kind of trying to convince other people of something that I wasn't so sure of myself even probably at that point. But I really want them to believe in me. Now that I'm older, I'm not so performative, to be honest. I kind of wish I was, though. Like, like the past year or so, I realized that that part of me that was performative was like a spearhead to something more. And it kept me motivated to grow and be something else, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Like, I almost don't think that it's a negative in having a mask. It's how you use the mask, right? So, like, telling yourself that I'm the best, or like I'm this or I'm that, or self-affirmations, and you may not be at the position yet, but you keep telling yourself until you become or will believe, act out, and then become that. I think that's actually a really important part of being a human. That delusion. So in real life, I think that this is probably surprising, but I think like probably 30 to 40% of what the average person shows to people is performative. Because if everyone went around acting exactly how they felt or thought at any given time, it would rub a lot of people the wrong way. Mm-hmm. And you can correct me if I'm wrong here because you're married to a therapist, but think like someone who has Asperger's or who's autistic, they're not different in the sense that like what they do is different. There's shit that I do, I'm like, damn, that was questionable. That's kind of crazy. For me, that was crazy. And you start to realize, like, fuck, I'm really the same. It's just I have the ability and an agency to perform in a way that I want to perform every second of my day in front of people.
Yeah.
So I think that the difference between us and someone who has like Asperger's or some gradient of autism is that we have the agency to perform. Mm-hmm. So I would say like probably 35 to 40% is performative, and not in like a bad way, just in like a very realistic way of you can't say everything that comes to your mind or everything that you are at any given moment. You know, some people are overly sad because their life is super difficult, or like they can't act that way because people just generally don't want to be around people who are going through hard times.
Yeah. Be that
know?
Debbie Downer, that Nancy, the negative Nancy.
There's sayings about it, right?
Yep.
Negative Nancy, Debbie Downer, etc. Yeah. You? What do you think? The book is full of masks, literal and social, and real life. How much of what we present to the world is performance?
I think there's tiers depending on, at least in my life, who I let in. So face value on like a day-to-day person that I'm not going to be like that deep with, you're probably getting 70% of a performance, if not 80.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to let you have that 30 to 20%.
Right.
Whereas, say, let's jump to like where you and I are at, where you're probably getting 90% me,
Yeah.
whether you like it or not,
Right.
and then still going to keep probably that 10%, you know?
There has to be like a trust. Not even a trust. I honestly, there's a poem that I read in probably like middle school. I want to say it was some kind of Asian poem called "The Mask."
I want to know if it's this one that's literally in my bathroom. It could be. I could be wrong. Go ahead and.
Yeah, and I don't remember if it's an Asian poem or not, so don't quote me on that. But there was a poem, and it's not that long. It's a pretty short one, and it basically talks about how there's different masks or different levels of masks that we wear, and what, did you find it?
I found one, but I don't know. I don't think it is with how you're describing it. But I'm going to read this one either way.
Okay, yeah, let's read it. Let's hear it. I'm interested.
Shel Silverstein. Masks. She had blue skin, and so did he. He kept it hid, and so did she. They searched for blue their whole life through, then passed right by and never knew.
It
It is a good one. Rachel's best friend, our close friend, Zach's wife, Bree, made that on,
ooh, that's really
on
good.
a board. Shel Silverstein, a classic. I'll go and pull it up on the screen.
That's good. That's not the one I'm talking about. The one I'm talking about is actually called The Mask.
No, as soon as I read it, I said, that's not it.
Yeah.
But I was going to follow through.
But that's good enough. I think that's good enough to get the point across. Like, it's a thing. Even for you guys, feel free to like comment. You know, I do think that when people hear about or talk about this, it's usually in a negative connotation. But there's a protective aspect of wearing a mask.
Absolutely.
You know, sometimes you don't want to let people know the child part of you or the what you view as like the weaker or more what's the word I'm looking for?
More vulnerable.
Yeah, more vulnerable. That's exactly what more vulnerable part of you. So
I think that for a long time I went about it in the sense of I'll give you what you can carry.
Yeah.
And then I realized it's not for everyone, and I don't want everyone to have it. You know? So it's very important for me to know that I can trust that person with said information. It's the whole thing of you'll never know how everyone sees, because you're different for each person.
Yeah.
And
even just you open up to, as like life goes on, you open up to different people in different ways.
Yeah.
You know, I want to say some of my closest friends that you've met, they didn't know even I was in foster care until I was an adult. You know what I mean? So, yeah, life's crazy like that. The Mask.
That's a great one. Number 3.
Yeah, I know. We have this extra one. I'm trying to figure out if I want to throw it in.
Whichever one you want to do.
I feel like we spoke about number 3 before. What do you think?
Talked about what?
We spoke about number 3 before.
Yeah, let's jump in.
Okay, I'm going to do the bonus one.
Cool.
Because it ties really well into the theme and like the book stuff. So, vengeance is a core theme and a driving force in the Lies of Locke Lamora. Is revenge ever worth the collateral?
If the question stopped at, is it ever worth it? Then I'd be so quick to be like, yeah. My petty ass? Yeah, it's worth it. But the collateral, especially as we get older,
you start to understand all the things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The repercussions and how it affects not only you, but your loved ones. That's something, so we're in the confessional box right now. I'm come from serial bad road rage. Not road rage, but like being upset on the road and calling everyone an idiot for whatever reasons.
We're all familiar with this. Everyone in LA, we're familiar.
Yeah. When Rachel was pregnant, there was a couple times where there was close calls. I've never fisticuff, gotten out of the car or gotten an actual fight, but I've gotten pretty close. And I don't say that with pride. Like I say that with shame because it should never be that. But it got pretty close one of the times. She's pregnant to the point where she grabbed my arm and was like, babe, don't. And I had another occasion where my younger brother there was something similar where he's like, don't, And now thinking about like Max, my little boy, all it takes is like one wrong thing where I'm like, that guy cut me off, or he like almost rammed into us. That happened a couple weeks ago. Max is in the back seat. You almost took out me and my family, or one of us. Lots on the line, But what's to say that doesn't escalate to something worse? I don't know. I have a hard time carrying anything, whether it's something about vengeance or a grudge. Either way, it's carrying. Like I'm carrying something.
Yeah.
So, am I petty? Absolutely. If I could be even, or make sure that they understand what they put me through, then yeah, and there was a button and no one else got hurt, absolutely. But if it's something that I can do internally and squash, ideally that's the outcome I'd want. What about you?
Ideologically, yes. Emotionally,
no.
Yes. From like a communal, social aspect, no. Because all of us, you, me, them, the listeners, we're simultaneously individuals and communal. Mm-hmm. We always have to keep those two things in the forefront, because who we are really makes a difference.
Yeah.
From an individual scale and a communal scale. So, very short, I'm going to say yes, because we're individual first. And even myself, I've been in situations where I feel like, man, I really wish I would have said something. There's a podcast that I watch called 520 Podcast, and it's just from a ex-NBA player called Jeff Teague and his friends. And there's someone he had on this podcast, and they made a comment about his family. It was super difficult for him to understand him because the guy was from Canada. As if that's like a strong asset, but whatever. Jeff Teague, he's from Atlanta. He's from Indianapolis. He lived in Atlanta for a while, but he just has difficulty hearing people with accents. So the guy said something about like getting his wife pregnant. And I don't know the whole story, but there's like like him and his wife, everyone didn't really, even like the comments, although Jeff didn't catch it, the live listeners caught it, the people who rewatched it caught it, and everyone was commenting like, "Damn, bro, you didn't say nothing," you know. And so to the point to where Jeff had to. The next episode, he was like, "Yeah, I'm about to crash out. I'm about to crash out." I went back, I listened to it, and I feel like we should have damn near threw hands. You feel me? Like, because sometimes it is important to protect what you think is important to you, whether it's someone else, your family, when you're driving on the freeway, someone cuts you off, or it can be your own mental peace. Right? Feeling like someone got over on you, or someone disrespected you, or something like that. All that is akin to vengeance. And me personally, it doesn't happen so much now because I don't put myself in those kind of positions. But I do remember it's almost like a burning feeling I would get when I felt like someone was trying to get over on me. You know what I mean? So I'll say yes on that one. I think that sometimes it is worth it. So I'll say yes sometimes.
Okay. I definitely think that there's, as you bring that up, that there's definitely exceptions.
Yeah.
I feel like
the exceptions kind of make the rule, you know, because in general, on average, everyone just wants to get along to go along. The exception are the situations where you have to input your individuality, let people know how you feel and why that rubs you the wrong way or why that made you feel a way. And I think that that's just as important than letting people just say whatever, do whatever, because you'll be a rug. You'll be a doormat.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to take number 4?
I'll do number 4. Can loyalty become toxic? At what point does ride or die become ride or deny your own instincts?
Fuck yeah. But I don't care.
I think ride or die. I mean, I quote it every time. There's been too many episodes where I've brought up the town and that scene. You know, whose car are we taking? But I feel like maybe maturity. We'll see what I say in 5 years. But being a ride or die is also being the voice of reason in that moment. There's that saying that says, like, you know, everyone loves to put it on. A good friend will tell you not to do it. A great friend will bail you out. Or maybe it's a good friend will bail you out. And your best friend will be there with you.
Yeah, they'll be locked up with you.
Yeah, I'll be locked up with you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if that's a young mindset. You and
that's
that
the second
damn
episode. So guys, whenever you hear that,
watch.
just know I'm trying to put my phone on vibrate. I watch on vibrate, and I actually pushed the button to ring my phone. But anyway, so off what you just said, I don't think I'm ever that adult. Only because, and I've said this before, so I won't go super deep. But I grew up kind of by myself, you know. I was in foster care for a really long time. And one thing that I noticed is that the only thing that's real is people. Money, clothes, the seasons that you go through. All these things are pretty temporary. The only thing that's like pervasive is the people that you choose to keep around you. And I think it is very important to have to stand for something.
Absolutely.
And to stand for people around you, even if it caused you to die. I don't think you would ever regret it. One, because you're dead. But in general, I think that as a human, it's almost instinctual to want to feel like I'm gonna get Freudian here, but everyone wants like unrequited love. You come from most people, a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people come from a situation where you were born and you have a mom, and your mom, as you're being raised, or your dad, right, your family gives you this crazy amount of love. They adore you, and as you become cognizant and you grow, you never stop chasing that. And this actually ends up being an issue in a lot of relationships, is that what people are looking for is the same love or a similar kind of love that they were getting from their mom, their dad, their family, this unrequited love. When in actuality, when you first meet people, when you're older, it's all conditional.
Yeah.
Which is the opposite of unrequited love, right? Unrequited love is unconditional. Everyone's chasing that. And if it's not like romantic, the other closest way to get it is through very close ride or die friendships. So whether it's like your best friend, a cousin, a brother, whatever, like your ride or die, whoever it is to you, it is very important to be able to put it all on the line, or for at least for them to feel like you would, because it's almost instinctual, the feeling to do it, but it's definitely instinctual to crave it. Like everybody wants that feeling, or to have someone around them that will put it on the line.
With that in mind, my thing is that I would hope that, because I completely agree. When does ride or die, or at what point does ride or die become ride or deny your own instinct? It's not so much that it's not only that I want to be the person that they call because they know I have their back, but it's because, hey, I got to run this past you.
Yeah, you said that earlier, and I didn't think about it at first like that, and I definitely agree. Like to call someone as a voice of reason is just as important. Yeah. Rather than like, yo, I got myself into this shit, I need you to get me out. Yeah. Right? That's not what they're going to say, but that's what they're saying. So, I think that's
I'm going to go, knock this dude's teeth in, come with me, opposed to, this is what's going on, what do you think? And then go from there. So,
and my friends will tell you, I've been on both sides of this, man. I've been on both sides of this. I've called, I've made the call, and had a crazy amount of people pull up. I've had to pull up. I've had to be the voice of reason. I had to call someone for a voice of reason. I've been on all sides of this. So, I understand where you're coming from, and I do think the mature mind, like you said earlier, would hope and pray to
that's the outcome,
to get the call.
Yeah,
be the voice of reason, be able to help your whoever that is, your ride or die, onto the other side without having to take any kind of collateral damage.
So I guess the question, starting with, can loyalty become toxic, is either yes or no.
Yes.
So yes.
And you get toxic if you're ready to ride or die. You become toxic too.
That's fair.
You feel me?
Yeah.
All right. So last question: how much of success is merit, and how much of it is timing, charm, or just straight up luck? And you guys answer this in the comments too, because obviously these are all of our 5-part questions relate to real life. I made this question, and I remember writing it, and I was like, this is kind of tough, because you want to believe that you have succeeded off your own laurels. I've worked this hard. I climbed this fucking mountain.
The only thing you have to do while saying that or thinking that is then pivot and think about someone else that's been successful. Ideally someone you don't like that's been successful, and what you thought about what their success was. Yeah. So I agree, because my pride, my whatever you want to call it, was like, merit, timing, definitely part luck. It's a combination of all. But then you see someone else succeed that you feel genuinely they probably didn't deserve, or in your eyes eyes that it was probably just straight up luck.
Yeah. No hate. It's just
No.
Yeah, it's like there's
like,
no way they did this.
He had this connection.
And it just worked out this perfectly. Yeah. So I say this, I won't say a lot, but I said it enough in my personal life. And it's not something I really internalized until I was probably in my early to mid 20s. We all stand on the shoulders of giants. The life that you enjoy or that you hate and talk shit about, you get to enjoy and live because someone else sacrificed, supported, helped you along. Mm-hmm. I don't believe that anyone has made to where they have been or where they're at off of merit.
They didn't just
timing, charm, or luck.
What was it? Picked them up by their bootstraps and did it on their own?
Like yeah. It's obviously it's possible.
Obviously,
everyone, But no, like really, I don't believe in that. I used to though, and I think that I spoke about this in a previous episode, but I went through like a crazy deep depression, and one of the things that helped me get out of it was when I realized like, oh, no one's got it all. Oh, man, what's her name? The soundtrack for 500 Days of Summer. Hero. The song is called Hero. And she says, no one's got it all. Regina Spektor. She performed that for Obama at his inauguration. But anyways, yeah, no one's got it all.
Were you impressed that I just pulled that?
You don't know. I'm so impressed. I'm sorry. Cause I would have to look at my Spotify for her to get it because she's on like one of my playlists.
that soundtrack all the time.
It's a crazy soundtrack. Yeah, and she's a great artist. So shout out to Regina. But yeah, so how much success is merit? A very small amount. How much of it is timing? A very small amount. How much of it is charm and straight up luck? A very small amount. The lion scale of success, it has to do with the people that came before you.
Yeah.
And that's everyone. Living, breathing, orphan, does not matter. If you're alive, you have health, even if your health is compromised, you're here. You're fighting for another day. That's because of someone else helped you get there.
Yeah.
Whether it was birthed you, supported you, whatever. Like you get to because of someone else.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think it'd be, I want to say like, oh, it'd be easy to chalk it up as luck for all of it, kind of a blanket statement. I think of all of them, timing logistically is one that, for me, I think of as the most important, because for any of these to work, it definitely has to be at the exact time that it needs to be achieved.
So timing, I can say, yeah, I don't even believe in luck. I think it's something that humans realize that, oh, I didn't get this, but this other person got that. So let me put a term on that. Like, how can I put that out into the world? And they had to put a phrase to it, so they called it luck. I don't think it's a real thing. The fact of the matter is that things happen for everyone at different times, at different scales, and that we view that as inequality. The universe doesn't give a fuck about that. Luck is completely subjective. I don't believe in luck.
I feel like we should go into The Alchemist next.
I think The Alchemist should be next.
That's great. Because yes, I do. I am of the same cloth where luck is just following the omens, seeing the opportunity as it is.
Yeah.
And not painting it one way or another. It just is. You
got to recognize your time and take the reins.
Okay. Great questions.
Awesome. So, guys, we are about an hour and a half in. maybe a little bit less.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting into the spoilers.
Spoilers.
There's so much spoilers in this series.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna spoil the second book. I'm gonna try so hard.
We're going into the spoiler zone. If you spoil the second book,
I'll try.
I swear.
I'll try.
Don't try. Don't just say you will. Not.
I won't spoil the second or third book. So, because I love it so much, I'm gonna let you go first. What's a plot point or surprise that happened for you when you were reading this book? First one that stands out.
The twins and Bugs.
They killed the homies.
They killed the homies, and I did not think that was real. It took everything in me to believe it, because I kept thinking
On an ALT scale too, like they killed the homies. You know what I mean?
yeah, I definitely got a little teary-eyed.
Especially because Bug was like, they walk in on the twins.
Yeah. But Bug was G-Baby till the end.
Yeah.
That reference
Yo.
is...
And Locke was trying to save his life. Or was it John? Who tried to, someone was like, everyone was like, Locke, John, and Bug.
John was in the other room because remember his hand,
yes.
because his name was written on the hand.
Right.
So only Locke was, yeah.
And Locke knew he was about to. Locke knew Bug was about to.
Because Locke was holding back Bug.
Yeah.
So he didn't see the twins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he saw him still. He knew it was up.
And he was a G to the end.
And I remember reading that. I cried. I didn't get teary. I cried because I was so connected to the characters.
Their banter is pure and just was written so well. Or you're like, oh, it's homies.
They're a family. Like they all needed something. They were all lost. They were all broken, and each character was a puzzle piece for the next one.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that. Like I said, I really internalized the characters because for me, they were all one character. I saw the Santa twins, Bugs, Sabitha, Jean, and Locke. They're like one perfect person. And he just fractured a glass and he created a character off of each fragment. I won't lie, that shit really affected me when they died. Like on an Attack on Titan scale.
I was trying to think of, let me see. Oh, that's an interesting one for Bug. I don't think I agree.
Well, fan casting.
This is back for fan casting. I believe it's pronounced Sholo.
Who?
Blue Beetle.
Okay.
Cobra Kai.
Okay.
Main character?
Yeah.
Jaime. For Bug.
No.
That's not who I picture. Would picture at all.
Not for Bug.
They actually don't have anyone for the Sansa twins.
That's
The
crazy.
Sansas. Well, I was also kind of bummed that it said for the character listing. It's still just... I have twin sisters. I don't think either of them will listen to this. But one of their pet peeves, which understandably... is that they're always referred to as the twins
as a unit
instead of rightfully so, like Galdo and Kahlo. And then I looked at our character list and it just says Sansa twins as well.
So look, I was gonna write their names, but I was trying to write everyone. I did it pretty quickly.
No, rightfully so.
And they're known as the Sons of Twins in the book.
Like
they say their names, but it's only in personal settings. When you reread, watch. Like only like people that know them. So Jean, Locke, Bug, Sabbath. Those are the people who call them Chains. Everyone else calls them the Sons of Twins. Another show at how great his writing is. You know what I mean? But I crushed me. when it killed the homies. Crushed me.
Yeah.
And I fucking hated the Falconer. And I loved every character. And I hated how powerless everyone was. Because, you know, this is in the spoiler section still, guys. But there's magic in this book. But not like magic to get you out of the shits. Mm-hmm. Like, to get out of the shits in this book, you gotta be smart. You gotta have luck. You gotta have grit. You gotta have friends.
Yeah, power,
you gotta
strength.
Let me say, you gotta have friends. Because Sean, he was that guy when they were kids. And when they were older.
I just gotta last long enough for Sean to get here.
I just gotta, man, how the goosebumps that you get. Yeah. I don't have to beat you.
I don't.
I just gotta last long enough to the homie to get here. My ride or die. And you into some shit when he gets here. Yeah, bro. Top tier quote from that book.
Yeah.
So for me, just to answer the question I asked, like a surprise. I didn't expect Nazca to die because like they had just started to really connect when she died.
No, I told you the whole Wink thing threw me because I was like, oh, she's probably in on it. She's probably part of the Grey King. It's probably something to that where she's gonna reappear. No, they really put her ass into a barrel of what?
Horse piss. And him too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, him too.
I was gonna say. So Nazca
but she died.
She died
in there.
She drowned in a vat of horse piss. That should affect me too. And then when they stuck him in there, even though like he got out, it still affects me because I was just like, he's so powerless, you know, to like the world around him. And once again, I mentioned this earlier, but this isn't the book where your main characters have some kind of plot armor.
Yeah.
There's no plot armor.
He's good at what he's good at.
Yeah.
And nothing else. He gets his ass beat.
Yeah.
Like, he's not the fighter.
He's not.
Throughout the story, there's people that rock his ass.
Yes.
So he's not that guy.
No. He has no plot armor whatsoever.
And what I love is Father Chains.
He calls him out.
He calls him out.
Know.
Yeah, he's like, you're not that guy for that, and you're also not the guy for this, or this, or this. Your thing is this, and you're gonna master that.
That was my favorite part about Father Chains, is that he brought them together so intentional. He got Jean because he was affluent. He came from a merchant family, so he could speak different languages. He had great math, and he was a bruiser. He was a bruiser. He got Locke, who was just a thief. The nigga steals. Yeah. he steals too much.
But to the point of kleptomania.
Yes, he steals too much.
And it's not that he's a klepto in the sense of, I'm going to get caught. He's a klepto in the sense that he's addicted to the game and the overall scheming. Yeah. So it's not so much like, I need to steal that wallet off that guy. Is how can I do it to the point where he would never think it was me, or where he hands it to me and doesn't even figure it out.
That's what made him a great leader, was that, and I think that's why Chains wanted him to be the leader, is that he didn't just want to steal or scam or skim. He wanted people, he wanted to trick you. He wanted to create schemes in which you handed your money over to him and his crew. He walked away laughing. And you walked away feeling like, that was a great deal. How do you write that? He writes Scott Lynch, bro.
With that in mind, I told Cristiano at one point that I'd started. It was actually one of the weeks that I came in for the podcast. And I said, I just got to this part. He's already started tricking the Dawn about giving him money, but now this mysterious dude just showed up and is telling the Dawn that that Locke is the thorn of Camorr and that he shouldn't trust him.
It was so hard for me
and Cristiano was just like, okay, now it's getting going. Little did I know, again, we're in the spoiler area. It was Locke. Not only did the dude put on this whole facade about being this other character,
a midnighter,
and saying like, "Oh, hey, to start, was it Sage? Is his first name?
Oh, you're talking about his rich character.
Yeah, he became this rich character.
Yeah.
And was treating this Don, or like tricking this Don into giving him his money. But then he acted as a midnighter and showed up at the Don's place and said, this rich person is actually tricking you. And so we're going to catch him. There's this huge scheme against him. So what we're going to do is have you keep giving him money, and we'll tell you the exact point where, like, it's a sting operation.
Yeah.
So keep doing it. And the Don's like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, give him every penny.
Because like the Midnighters, they work for the Spider. The Spider and Midnighters, they help govern and police the rich, the really rich, like the people who run the city. So he's not running a scam on like a shop owner.
No. No, this was for a lot of money.
Yeah, this is like retirement money. And that's also part of like the heartbreak in the book, at least for me, was...
Oh, that line. I know exactly what you're... Well, he finally finds out with the Grey King. The Grey King finds out his motives and what he really wanted, which was Locke's money. Yeah. And Locke said, you could have had it. Yeah. I just wanted my friends.
Yeah.
And the Grey King was basically like, you say that now, but why risk the chance that you wouldn't have said that? I just killed them. Yeah.
He was a great character, by the way. He was such, bro. As a villain, he had great motive.
I said this to you.
He has amazing motive.
Had this book been written from his perspective, you would have been rooting for him.
Yeah, he would have been a crazy
Locke,
big character.
Locke and his people would have just been a band of thieves.
Yep.
You know, that had some sort of loot that he needed.
Yeah, and you would have never cared about them.
No, never.
That's how great of a villain he was.
Yeah.
You
believed in his outcome, you know?
Because he got the short end of the stick in his time frame. So, obviously, when a spoiler era, right? So, the Great King, or Caporazza, however you want to say, he was wronged by his people. Years later, he still held that, what do they call in the book? A blood oath or a blood something. But anyways, when someone wrongs you, you gotta get your get back. And so his is just a long play.
A long play.
He was offing people the whole book. So even from the beginning of the book, you hear about him. You don't meet him yet, but you hear about him. Oh, this guy, he's killing off all the Kappas. And he started making the main Kappa Barsavi. He was paranoid.
Super paranoid. Wasn't leaving. Became an agoraphobe.
Yep. And so he was killing niggas, man. He was going crazy. And eventually you do meet the Great King. And long story short, like he kills Nazca, who's the Captain Barsavi's daughter. And loves one of Locke's interests, you know what I mean? He's not the interest, but he's a part of it. His betrothed. His betrothed. Yeah, his betrothed.
That they were trying to get out of, but still, nonetheless, betrothed.
They were like friends from when they were young, right? Ever since the thief maker brought him to Captain Barsavi. What was crazy, and another thing I loved, like it happened around the part where he was saying, like, man, if you want the money, you could just tell me. I would have given you that. I just wanted my friends, you know, because that was his family. All this is going on. All this loss is happening. There's no plot armor. The only thing he could control was what he did with the money. He made all of it a blood offering.
Yeah.
All of it. A retirement savings worth of money.
It could have been his. I told you that. I thought that even his thought of burn the ship, I thought it was a Count of Monte Cristo situation where, it's going to go down, or Pirates of the Caribbean, where they think it's gone, it's not gone. Because in the eyes of the whoever it was, they would have thought it was just a burnt ship with like disease on it. Yeah, with disease on it. Whereas in real reality, there's a ton of money.
That's his blood offering.
Yeah.
Either him and his friends were going to get out with the money, or people die, and now it's the offering. I love the forethought that he put into all of his schemes. Not all of his schemes work. Like, he's not perfect, but his schemes were fucking thoughtful.
Yeah, they were.
And this one was like fail safe on a fail safe. You know, and everyone was on edge because of Falconer and all, you know, all this shit. So the Great King hired the Falconer, who's a part of this mage legion. And I think the Falconer had like 3 or 4 rings or something. And every ring you have is exponential in terms of how powerful you were. There's not a lot of magic. Like, magic is prevalent in this book. They reference it a lot, but not a lot of magic happens. And the Falconer was fucking vicious.
Yeah, he was.
He was vicious.
OP.
He was cold. And so the Great King hired him, and he ended up killing Locke's friends. Jean ends up fucking him up.
Yeah.
This is the last thing I want to say about the spoilers. Jean's name was on the hand. The Falconer had power over Jean because he knew his true name. Same thing with the twins.
Yes.
He tried the same shit with Locke.
But knew that it wasn't real.
He's like, it's an obviously it's a fake name. At this point, everyone thought his name was Locke.
Even Sean.
Even Jean. Guys, if you guys enjoy fantasy, magic, crime, thriller, friendship, family, love, loss, please read The Lies of Locke Lamora. It's so well written. You don't have to be into like literature to really enjoy the book. As I said earlier, it's one of my top referrals whenever I talk to someone about literature or books.
Yeah, this is your favorite author's favorite author.
Yes. A lot of my favorite books I would never have found if I didn't read this book first. It's that impactful. So I would recommend this book to everyone. There's no one I could think of that wouldn't take a liking to the characters, the plot, the world that's built.
Yeah. You'll find your favorites. I would challenge you to not love the same people we love.
Right.
But there's so many.
Do you have a favorite though? Just a quick tangent.
Character?
Yeah. Because they're also dynamic. They're all different.
It might be a tie or split between the twins and Sean. And yes, I said the twins.
That's tough.
Book 1. Don't go on.
Yeah, I know. So the twins, you guys read this, you'll understand. The twins were a mixture. Like they weren't just comic relief. They were great at what they did as scammers and thieves. They were amazing family and friends.
I was just about to say, more so. If you're really listening to what's being said,
yeah,
they knew their friends.
Yeah.
And they knew how to call them out.
Yeah.
And what they needed to do, even if they said it barbarically.
Exactly. They were upfront. They didn't mince words. Absolutely. You're right. No. That's a great choice. Or Sean.
Or James. I really love James too.
James was great,
He was
bro.
badass.
Like he was a great character.
We've said too little about Chains.
Yeah, we didn't do Chains justice. Please read it. Even like the minor characters, the Thief Maker.
Yeah, Thief Maker as well. I think Chains and the Thief Maker.
The Thief Maker, the Falconer, even Nazca.
Or the what's the Thief Maker's spot?
Oh,
Hill? Is it a hill?
The Hill. No, it's the, what is it called?
Dang it.
Sorry, give us a second, guys. For me, it's been years since I read this book. I read it 50 times, but it is called The Hill, though. Something Hill. But yeah, so all the characters are super dynamic. I for sure, when you read it, you're gonna have more than one favorite. And while he looks this up, I'm gonna guess my favorite. So his favorite is between the twins and Jean. Mine is between I'm staying in book one here. Let me stay at book one here. It's gonna be between Jean and Locke. And a close third is probably the Grey King.
Shades Hill.
Shades Hill. Yes.
Shades Hill.
So the Thief Maker, he was a crippled, but he basically took in all the orphans and he taught them how to steal. He would skim a price off top.
He'd buy the orphans.
He would buy them. He would buy the orphans.
It's not like he's just taking in.
No, he wasn't stealing. It was the
He
kidnapping.
bought them and let them know that they were purchased.
He would buy them from like the police.
The police, yeah.
Yeah, he would buy them from the police. He would teach them how to steal. And the ones that are problematic,
He'd kill. Slip
Lock
their
ass.
Yeah. He was
was
that close.
He was. I think he scammed someone or to not get killed. The Thief Maker ended up killing 2 people
Because of
him.
Yeah.
Because he fucked up. Because once again, he's
Not so much that he fucked up, but because of what Locke did. Locke said that he was doing what he did to get back to those 2 people.
Yeah.
At those 2 people. But the punishment he didn't realize was death.
Yeah.
He thought they were just going to get their ass beat.
Yeah, he thought because everyone got beat. He got beat. Everyone got beat.
But the Thief Maker knew that that's what happened and but couldn't go back because then he loses control over the hill.
Yeah.
So he not only had to off those 2 people, but then get permission from Barsavi, right?
To kill them. Yeah.
To kill Locke.
Yeah.
And
then he ended up taking chains.
He took him 2 chains, is what it is.
He took him 2 chains instead of killing them.
Yes. And said, either you buy him from me,
I gotta
or
get
I
rid
go
of him.
slit his throat.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
And so Chains bought the dead, which was Locke.
Yep.
That was his second one, though. You know who he bought first? Sabbatha.
Which I still don't know too much about.
I cannot wait for you to.
No spoilers.
I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to spoil it for you or for the listeners. Yeah. Guys, if you guys loved Game of Thrones, if you guys love Attack on Titan,
If you love the Italian Job.
you guys love Italian Job.
That's actually not too far from it.
It's close enough.
If you like Lupin, it's the same thing.
I've never watched this franchise show.
We're going to watch it.
Look, please read this book. I cannot recommend it enough. You will not regret your time. Not waste your time. Short and sweet. Thank you guys for checking in with the Margins podcast.
Lies of Locke Lamora.
Lies of Locke Lamora.
Done, son.
Please comment, like, subscribe.
Follow.
You can find us at the Margins podcast on Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah, please let us know your answers to the 5 hard questions, and then also what book you guys want us to check out next.
Yeah, recommend some stuff, guys.
Authors, reach out. We'd love to cover your guys' books as well.
We'd love to cover the books. Maybe have you guys on for an interview.
Yeah.
That'd be super cool. So, yeah, see you guys next time, man.
See you guys. Bye, Mom.